Cereal Talk. Cereal Talk. Cereal Time. Okay.
Welcome everybody to the Cereal Talk podcast, number 16.
You said it right.
I said it right. This is the second go. We got an amazing guest, one of our dear friends, Adrian Lewis.
How's everybody doing out there?
So just quickly though, it's me and Colt, and then Adrian. We don't have the camera again because Farquhar's out again. His birthday though.
I just want to
happy birthday.
Is that really an
Happy
excuse
birthday,
to be
man.
100% honest?
Here's the thing. I would say no, but literally 2 weeks
literally,
ago, I was
I'm the only one
gone for
allowed
this
to
exact
say.
same thing.
I wonder if the 17th will fall on a Wednesday.
Well, we can't.
I'm
miss
not
you.
gonna miss just because of that. Though.
You can't because you have the mic.
You're right. If I miss, then y'all gonna. It's
Yeah,
gonna sound like you're talking in a tunnel for an hour and a half.
God. Yeah, no, can't do that.
But
All right.
Happy birthday, Farquhar. Probably be back next week, so we'll see
Yeah,
him then.
we know you. But Adrian, it's so good to have you.
Yeah,
Adrian's. How long have we known each other?
Woo!
We've known each other for.
Shoots. Whatever second grade was, however old I was in second grade was
Back in Mighty
7,
Mites, right?
8, yeah.
Yeah.
way
How
back
long ago
then.
was that?
That was over 15 years
15
ago.
years?
Over
Shoot,
15
you.
years.
I may know him longer than I do just about anybody else other than family that I consistently see.
You're 22.
22.
Right? Wow.
Other than like the
22.
person that gave birth to me, I think you're the next. You're next in
2
line.
years. That's a long time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man. Little League. His dad is definitely like a father to me, so yeah, we're way
Is your dad
back.
coach of your team?
Yeah.
Okay.
Back what were the
back.
Cowboys?
Yeah, we were
And then
Cowboys at
Union White.
first. I met you when I played at the Eagles, and then we went to Union White. And ever since
That's
Union
right.
White, just all the way up through high school and
Yep.
college and our life, you know.
That's cool. And then I've
Yeah.
only known you since basically whenever I knew everyone else from sophomore,
So when
junior
you
year,
moved
somewhere
up
in there.
here,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. That's
Hey
how it
man,
is
you
every time.
were like family from the jump, so
Hey,
it's all good.
it worked out really
Adrian,
well.
you do have that way, like, so since you moved back recently, we'll talk about all that in a little bit. I do want to talk about that. But you have this way, like, every time I'm around you, you have a ton of freaking people around you. Or you have a ton of people asking you to hang out. Like,
True.
every time I went and hung out with Adrian, what was it, 3 weeks ago? I show up, he's like, hey, by the way, my friend is going to be there. I'm like, who? He's like, he's just my buddy. He shows up sometimes. And so we get there, and this dude pulls up, and he comes in, and he hangs out for, like, as long as I hang out. And the dude gets 2 calls for people like, hey, I'm about to come over. And Adrian's like, all right, cool, whatever.
Wow.
Just hang out with me.
I mean, people gravitate towards you,
They
right?
do, bro.
It's
You're like
not-
the sun, and you got the whole solar system of people around you.
I appreciate the love. I appreciate all the love, but no, it's not me. I'm just a good friend, and I try to be, you know, the best friend I can be.
That humble crowd.
You
is
know.
so annoying.
Oh my God, yeah. No, that was a friend from college. Ever since high school, like
He was cool. I liked him.
even in high school, like people, you know, I could talk to anybody. But when I got in high school, it was weird because I could literally have a conversation with anybody, and so I got a lot of good friends out of that. But I also got a lot of bad friends too that I had to cut off.
You
know,
had
so up and down.
you literally have like the opposites of friend groups. Like in high school, you had me and my white friends over here. You had all of us like, hey, Adrian, come hang out with us. And then you had your hoodlum friends over here. And you had both of us. And it was funny to see you. Like, you were always basically you with both groups, but you would change slightly. When you were hanging out with me,
come on,
Zach,
it's
the
the
Fishers,
culture.
Galley, Farquhar, it's like, hey guys, what's up? It's good to see you.
What's
and
up,
then when
guys?
you
How
hang
you
with
guys
hoodlum
doing?
friends, it was a little bit different.
What's up, my guy?
I get it, though. Yeah, for sure. I mean, you change. People do that all the time, though. Like, I feel like you have to.
You have
It's a culture thing, you know, and it's not even just.
But it was. I'm saying that as a compliment in the sense that you're able to do that with 2
Yeah.
groups of people. Like you can hang out with just about anybody because you're genuine enough to just be you in those situations.
I try to be as transparent as possible.
It's gonna be another talk-up sesh like we had with Austin the first time.
Hey, that's
when we
great.
first had Austin head on, we just complimented him for like an hour and a half.
Can
and
we
that was it.
not do that? I feel uncomfortable already. Anyway, but no, it's a good thing though that I can communicate to so many different people. I've used it well in life, so I mean,
And that's a huge life skill too. A lot of people. It's crazy when you think about how many people just don't have kind of basic communication skills like that,
I had
and
that.
social
and
skills.
they don't even
Had that happen to me
realize.
today.
We just talked about that.
That
Yeah.
happened to me today. Should I tell that story?
Yeah, go ahead and
Go
tell
ahead,
it.
go
It's
ahead.
funny
All
story.
right, so I'll tell you the story, Adrian.
Be careful.
I'm gonna be very careful. Okay, so I have this student in my class that I'm taking at the place that I go to school. I'll be super general, bro.
That's
I'm not
good.
gonna put
Hey, that
anything.
works.
And I think that he has some some mental
illness,
some kind of mental thing. I don't know if it's Asperger's, if it's autism, or what it is. I just know that something's not right. He doesn't pick up on social cues.
Really?
And he talks differently. He struggles with that, and he doesn't understand normal human behavior. Okay?
Right.
I think developmental disorder is the proper.
Maybe that's it. Yeah,
I think so.
Either way, it's one of those guys that you look at and you're like, okay, something's clearly not right. Nothing, like, I have no beef against him or anything, but this is what happened today. So we're watching Troy for my humanities class because this is the best class I've ever taken.
Oh, wow.
And halfway through, we take a break. The teacher's like, everybody get up, go chill, like take a breather. It's a 3-hour long class, and it was a long movie. So we get up, and before class, this guy has been talking to me. And I think I'm one of the only one that's like willing to talk back to him. I don't try to avoid him. I'm just sitting behind him. He's just the person, so I try to be cordial.
Be just normal.
Just try to be normal.
him.
Yeah, and so I have these conversations, and I think because of that, he's latched onto me. So we get up to go rest, and I wanted to go to the bathroom, and he gets up and he runs up right next to me. Like, literally, he's in my personal space. Like, he's in my bubble.
Oh, he's in the bubble now.
Like, I know he doesn't understand what he's doing, so I'm not, like, trying to push him, but I am kind of, like, trying to, get my space back.
Way.
And I'm going to the bathroom. Well, he's talking to me, and he's talking right in my ear. He's asking me questions about the movie. What am I thinking? And I'm just being nice. I'm like, yeah, man, it's a cool movie. I've never seen it before. Yeah. Oh, you know how it ends? That's cool. Like, he's just telling me all this stuff. And he's in my space, so as I get up to the urinal, we walk into the bathroom, and I'm like, okay, if he's already in my space, he may not understand that you need to skip a spot between urinals. You know how it is. Like, if you have 3 urinals, one guy goes on the far right, one on the far left.
Right.
So I let him go to the urinal first to see where he goes. He goes far left. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to go far right. I go far right. Okay, that's how one person would do. This dude pulls his pants down a little bit too far and lifts his shirt. So I get it.
Different guy.
I'm not judging that part. What I'm judging is he moves to the spot next to me. Okay, so he moves urinals with that happening.
Oh, wow.
My pants, I also have my stuff out. And then he leans towards me while his pants are down, and he looks at me.
No, he doesn't.
He looks at me, and he begins to talk to me probably 6 inches from my face.
No, he doesn't.
Adrian, bro. I had to... I mean, I wasn't mad at any point because I'm not like, this dude is... It's not like it was like aggressive or anything. He just didn't understand.
He just doesn't understand.
But it doesn't mean it didn't make me feel like I wanted to throw up the whole time. I'm like, this is
so
awful.
Uncomfortable. And
So I sit there for like 3 seconds. I closed my eyes and I was like, okay, pretend this isn't happening. I couldn't pee. No, I couldn't pee at this point. So I said, you know what? I flushed the toilet, zipped up. I hadn't peed. I go and like put my hand to the water, and bro, I book it out of the bathroom while he's still over there, and I go find a different bathroom.
Hey, he could be from like another country because other cultures have
Definitely
different,
not from an.
Look,
no, that's not. Listen, bro.
hold on, wait.
Go ahead.
That's probably the best possible way you could have handled that situation.
That's what I'm
'Cause
thinking.
There are there
I'm
are
lucky as saint.
so many. There are so many disrespectful people out there who have attitudes and don't even realize that somebody has some type of mental illness or mental disability and need help with certain social cues or something like that, and they take it completely the wrong way, blow it out of proportion, and make that person feel like way worse than probably how they already are.
Oh,
So,
for sure.
You handled that really good, bro. Real talk.
Thanks, bro.
Yeah, man.
Finally, somebody says nice to me on this podcast,
Hey,
bro.
I
We've
thought
been
you did a
16
good job.
times.
Oh,
I
damn.
thought you did a
Gally?
good job.
Dang,
I'm just
16.
kidding, dude. I'm just playing.
It is 16.
I'm
That's
just
pretty
playing.
I think it was like 16.
So yeah, that was crazy. I don't know what led to that story. What led to that story?
Don't know.
Oh, people interactions.
Yeah,
Somebody
how
said-
you're good at it. And some people aren't.
yeah, and
They
some
say-
people are garbage.
But you handled that great, bro.
Thanks, dude.
I don't know if I would have handled it exactly like that because I'm more speech person. I'm like, hey, can you scoop that way? And I would have continued to probably talk to him, peeing. But the 6 inches
That's
from my
another thing.
face.
Though, like sometimes, like
Yeah.
if people get, if you did tell him something like that, like, hey, can I get my space? Some people can't even handle that.
Yeah.
Like, and it's like a super offense.
Yeah,
then it's like, oh,
and see,
okay,
that's-
I guess I won't talk to you at all.
Yeah,
I didn't mean
that's
that.
what's so
I just wanted
scary
some
about it.
space.
It's just
Yeah.
you don't know how to
Everyone gets triggered
Exactly.
pretty quick.
how it's gonna react once you do respond to it.
It was just a bad situation.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's cool. It's because the person, like this dude in particular, meant no harm. Like, I know he wasn't trying to do anything wrong. He wasn't trying to do anything bad.
He was trying to make
It's
you
just-
feel awkward.
He wasn't trying to make me feel that way. It's just how he handled the situation. I think
Right.
how he handles
Yeah, no,
most
he did a good job.
situations. So.
I think
Yeah.
he did. I think
It was
most people do that. Hopefully.
funny
I
story.
hope most people would do that, but honestly, they most likely nobody would handle it that well, bro. You handle it
I
pretty
don't
good.
know. I just think you just gotta keep them going. Anyways, yeah, dude, crazy.
Yeah.
It's a good class though. But okay, Adrian. So you've had an interesting journey. We're gonna talk about you for a little bit, and then we'll get into other topics. But I want to talk about like, okay, after high school, you went to NEO.
Yeah.
I played football.
I played football for a little bit.
But you also were like one of a few people that play football, and you did theater at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how often does that happen? Never is when that happens. So explain that situation.
So it was weird. I've always wanted to pursue some type of entertainment, something. Even in football, I didn't really. I probably enjoyed 80% of football. Everything but conditioning. Let's just be honest. Nobody likes running. All right, that crap sucks. But it taught me a lot. And so when I got to NEO, it was all about perseverance. So I'm gonna continue to fail, and then reality kind of set in. You got to think about what you want to do for the rest of your life, and I didn't want the politics that come with football for the rest of my life, because honestly, that's too much stress for me. But once I realized that. Acting kind of gave me a different passion. I don't know if anybody's ever, like had an overwhelming joy. But I was doing play one time. I think this is my biggest play actually. It was To Kill a Mockingbird. And I was the black guy, that has the crippled hand. Is his name Tom? I think
That sounds probably right.
I think that's what his name is. I can't remember, but I was playing that, and it got to a point where the emotions, because I've never acted before, so this is my first year, I think, of really putting acting under my belt, and I got really good at it. I think it was about 300 people there, and like I said, my first time. That's a lot of people to me. And so when I'm on stage, I'm doing my thing, and this feeling where you get so engulfed in your character that you are that person, dude. I started bawling on stage. But I was still in character, and when I got off stage, I broke down. But it wasn't when you cry and you cry for somebody. I wasn't crying for how can I explain that? I wasn't crying because I was mad or anything. I was crying because I was so happy with the choice I made. I was so passionate about what I did that I didn't care about anything else. That was what I wanted to do. Now, life takes its ups and downs, but acting was it. That was everything for me at the time.
So you broke down because you were so this is exactly what I was.
It was like God was like, yes. I don't know if anybody's ever been praying for something hard or questioning decisions, but when you're consistently praying and seeking and asking, and you may not be doing everything right, but when you're still asking for something and then you get that, oh my God, it's the best feeling in the world, because now it's like, okay, now I can plan. Mm-hmm. I can make steps. Now
so you found that day, and okay, that's awesome.
And it was weird because I was doing what was crazy. I was doing football and acting at the same time. I was waking up at 4:30, going to run and work out to 5-6 o'clock, going to class all day, study hall, mandatory study hall, and then right after that I'd go I'd eat for 10-15 minutes, and I'd go to acting rehearsal, and rehearsal would be from 6 to 10.
Bro.
You know what I'm saying? And then at 10 I go do some type of homework, and I get it done at 1. And I was doing that, and it was probably the most exhausting but most fun. Just working, just trying to get rewarding, right? Just trying to get better, bro. It was magnificent. But then football came, and I was it was during spring ball actually when I got the feeling. I got an interception. It was a weird play or whatever. When I got tackled, and everybody's cheering around me, and in the movies where everything goes quiet, and you see everybody cheering and stuff, but it's emptiness. There's nothing.
It's kind of one of those scenes where
it's a surreal moment.
Surreal, but it's kind of one of those scenes where you see where somebody feels they're around a group of people, but they feel alone.
But they feel alone.
Yeah.
That was my moment right there. That was exactly how I felt. Everybody's cheering and going crazy, and even I'm faking it. It was the worst feeling I've ever had. So after that, it was done, man.
So you were ready to be done.
I was done. I couldn't do it. I was like, no.
Were you ready to move on to what did you do after?
Right after I really, kind of was like, okay, I'm gonna just go to school, and that's when I had talked to the acting teacher at the school about my decision and what I wanted to do, and literally a month later, I got a full ride for acting.
And you get some awards too.
Yeah, I got like
because I remember you called me and you're like, "Hey, bro, I just got an award for blah blah blah."
I got best new actor,
and you had just acted for like 2 months.
Yeah, it was crazy. I mean, it is a junior college.
Y'all need anything
so
to drink? I'm gonna grab a water.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, water, please. Thank you.
I mean, it was, how do I explain that? It was definitely something to dream about, man. Because I was so scared once I quit football.
I imagine.
I took the leap because I knew if I would have kept going with it, that feeling wasn't gonna go away. Even praying about it, that feeling didn't go away. And when I was working out after that, it didn't. It was there. It was stuck on me. So
I mean, that's how many years consecutively of like.
I have been playing football since I was 5 years old.
Exactly. I mean, so that's your life. You know, that's like side by side with your every experience. So that's something pretty big to just kind of say.
Yeah.
So
I
do. Say this question because I don't know if it can pick me up, but tell them that I'm talking right now.
Coach talking.
It probably faintly picks you up, but it sounds probably horrible.
Here, I'll just walk over there.
Yeah, there you go. Hey, Colt's coming.
Super unprofessional. It's okay. So what was it like? What kind of, like, this is gonna sound a weird question, but like your emotional state after quitting, what was that like? Because I know that I just went to 9th grade, and when I was done, it was like I had been taken out of my friend group. I felt like lonely, and I was like by myself. So somebody who'd been doing it since 5 and quitting then, what was that like?
I was definitely on thin ice as far as like, what am I gonna do? Like, what have I done? I've made the worst decision in the world. Like, I was definitely thinking about going to beg for my spot back. But Coach Neal at Union, he told me, once you make a decision, stick with it. You know what I'm saying? I've been sticking to that motto for all my life, and it's, in every situation that I've used it for, it's definitely held true. So once I made the decision, I was like, okay, I'm gonna stick with it and grind it out. And even through the fear, it was like, okay, God, I'm kind of don't know what I'm doing, but I'm gonna, be like, okay, I'm gonna trust you. And he pulled through with the scholarship, man. Like,
that is something.
That's definitely a testimony in itself, because I was, when I say fearful, and it sucks that you have to try to fight that fear, because the Bible says the Lord doesn't give a spirit of fear. You know what I'm saying? And it's when you do have to fight that fear, it's like, why am I even afraid? Like, what is this that's holding me back? And you just have to take the step, even no matter how you feel. You have to consciously take the step. And so that's what I did, and he blessed me for it. So
did you kind of feel like it was at a certain point? I assume in the beginning it was probably like just you were scared and kind of freaked out, but did it feel like at a certain point it was like a weight kind of lifted and you can really like focus and kind of hone in on kind of your new passion with like acting and stuff?
As soon as she told me I got the scholarship, it was like the weight had lifted off, because I got the scholarship, and then they had told me that they had thinking about doing To Kill a Mockingbird, and it's Miami. There aren't that many black people. So I had to be like, okay, cool. So I want to say in that 2 years, 3 years, I got maybe 10 shows under my belt, which is a lot for somebody who's never, acted before.
How big are these shows? Are they like 300 people, like you were saying? Are they like...
My first show was crazy, man. My audition was Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. So I rapped his what's the like intro, the opening, the opening music, and they gave me one of the main roles off of that.
That's awesome.
Crazy, right? I think they were just impressed that somebody was willing to do that.
Yeah, that's dope.
But cause I can't sing, like I can hold a tune, I can't sing. But I did that, and I ended up getting one of the main roles. But then there's this other guy who can really sing. So there was like a group A and a group B, and group A did stuff on these certain days, and group B did stuff on these certain days. But the the background cast was all the like both group A and B, and so I was on group B, and the dude that was on group A quit a week before the show.
So group A could sing.
Yeah, Group A can sing, and he quits a week before the show. And I don't know if anybody knows that the week before show is tech rehearsal. Like, you got all your lines memorized. We're putting on full makeup and tech and people. It's a full show a week before the actual show.
That's okay.
Yeah, and that's it. So when somebody quits, it's like, what are you?
It's not just a show, bro.
It's disrespectful,
it's
dude.
It's a singing show. Like, I'm getting nervous.
It's a musical.
It's a musical.
A singing show, a musical. That's what a singing show is. It's stupid, bro. A singing show.
You're never in theater.
Oh my gosh. Anyway, so I end up, learning his lines in, I want to say, 3 days. Like all of his lines, and I knew the music because everybody had to know the music. So all of his lines in 3 days, and they put me in group A and B. So I did all the performances.
Wow.
My first play, which was weird, and it was a children's play. Don't get me wrong, but even in children's plays, you got to be weird and goofy and creative and sing and. So yeah, that was my first time. And you also want to
impress like your professors and stuff.
Yeah,
too.
you want to do a good job.
Yeah, and they were really impressed by that. So after that, I got. Like, they wouldn't let me go. After that, they wouldn't let me go. After that, I was getting role after role after role. And more or less, like, once... Because after that first year of me acting, they ended up cutting the arts program. So there wasn't any more acting, like, classes or degrees or anything. So the community in Miami sets up a program to partner with the college and the community to do shows. So... Once they came in, I actually got some like real training with somebody who went to a college and stuff like that. So
that's kind of dope.
Yeah, it was a real cool experience. Theater, if you're gonna act, if you're gonna do anything really in film, theater is the way to start. Personally, just from experience, and then trying to see the transition. Because I've done like. Because once I started doing theater, I started doing like a little like short scenes and stuff like that. They never actually got put out, but I was doing them.
Yeah.
And I got a lot of experience from both sides, so definitely.
So what are you doing? So continue tell your story. Like fast forward a little bit.
Okay.
I know that other stuff happened.
Yeah.
I don't know how much you want to talk about. I don't know what you want to talk about, but
so
fast forward.
So I mean, we can fast forward to now. I'm back in Tulsa. I am going back to school in the fall. So what had happened was I got to theater, but when you are in football so long, when you get a real taste of no supervision, no accountability. Nobody always over your back to tell you what to do or to keep you in line. You kind of go crazy, and I will admit I went crazy. I went crazy, and I lost control, man. And it sucks to say that, but being where I am now, I think it's part of my journey. I don't know how to explain it to anybody, but I think it's part of what God wants to produce here in the coming future. It wasn't easy, it was definitely hard. I was going through a lot. I feel like
because you dropped off the map.
Yeah, I mean, I still don't have pictures up on social media and stuff like that, just because I still feel like the reason I stopped doing it, I haven't accomplished, like overcame that, if that makes sense.
You're still in the midst of.
I'm still in the midst. I'm getting there. You obviously being in Miami, moving to Stillwater, and then moving back to Tulsa, there was a lot of transitioning and a lot of growing that happened during all of that. So now that I'm back in Tulsa, I realize that I'm not all the way there. But as I continue to work every day and pray and do my daily routines and stuff like that, I'll get there. Where I get to be more, because I'm back around my friends again. I'm getting more social. I'm talking to you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Like, honestly, I wouldn't have done this 8 months ago.
Right. Yeah.
I would have been like, nah, bro, I'm good.
Yeah.
And now it's more like, okay, Adrian, let's get back to what makes you you. Because when you're down so long, how do I explain that? When I ended up basically dropping out of school, I was so hard on myself that I was being depressed and put in a depressed state of mind, and everything I was doing wasn't productive, if that makes sense. Like I was doing things, but it wasn't to get anywhere. It was just to maintain, to keep myself from, breaking down or just driving off or, doing something just stupid. I was not in the right space of, my right headspace. And it's definitely a God thing. That's all I can say is I was depressed, man. I had no job. I was in school, and people were taking care of me. And when you're not independent and you're depending on people, you lose that self-control. You lose that sense of control. Like you have control over your life. And there's nothing worse than feeling like everybody else is pulling you and tugging you and you can't do anything about it. Because you're depending on all these people, and yet you still want to be a man. You still want to be the guy everybody wants you to be. You still want to follow your dreams and be productive, and yet you feel stuck. And it's not something that you can do in a day or a week, not even a month, really. It's something that you have to take serious and be disciplined about, and because depression is a real thing, you know what I'm saying? Like it's definitely real. And anybody battling that, get some mental tools to help you battle it. My family, my friends, and God was what got me through all of this, especially my girlfriend. Natalie got me through everything. But yeah, I've definitely learned a lot, coming from basically, I feel like my mind was, I want to say in the gutter, but not like that, not sexual, but like.
It wasn't dirty.
It wasn't dirty. It was just like.
You in a rut.
Man, I was in a
spot.
hole. I was in a really bad spot mentally. In mental health, people don't realize how big of a thing that is. Because if you're not mentally healthy, say it's like if you were cut and you never took care of that wound and tried to go touch on people and say hi, and you're gonna start bleeding on people. Like if you don't take care of that depression, if you don't know what you're dealing with, you're gonna start bleeding on people, and people are gonna start pushing you away, or you're gonna start pushing them away.
Yeah.
And that's not good. Secluding yourself, and
which only makes the
it only makes
cut
it
or
it only makes it worse. It only makes it deeper, honestly, because then people feel butthurt or.
Hopefully,
like
we're getting to a
abandon
position
them.
where it starts to destigmatize that kind of
and
I think we're getting there slowly or surely.
I think society is realizing that mental health is like seriously real, not just in the obvious that you see, but in the unobvious, in the people that look normal.
Yeah, no,
exactly.
exactly.
Know what I'm saying? Like it's real, and I think we're getting there, but we're not completely there yet. For sure.
I mean, it's one of those things that if you don't see it, it's not real. Like you don't see somebody with depression,
right?
Or you don't see somebody with like severe anxiety. It's not like they walk up to you shivering and shaking.
Right.
It's just they had 2 panic attacks before they showed up, and now they've been able to handle themselves long enough to get through what they
exactly. And most people don't even want to talk about that stuff, want to show it, or even.
It's important.
It's
important to be talking. I commend you for talking about that stuff,
and to show that you can get through. You can be in the midst of it, but also be coming out of it. That there is you may not be at the end of the tunnel, but there's at least a light.
Man, I do a lot of, like you said, I know a lot of people, so I do a lot of like talking and trying to see, people's situations. What I've learned from the biggest thing is perspective, man. Like, I'm not gonna judge you, you're not gonna judge me, but tell me what you did, and let's talk it out. You know what I'm saying? Let's see what's up, because we all can't do it alone, and that's definitely the biggest thing I've seen. Is like I can't do it alone. My pride is nothing compared to what we all could be, Yeah. And it's like I said, it's been good. It's getting better. It's getting a lot better. I got my new place now. I got the good job. Getting back into school. So next thing is to get that car fixed.
Is your car not working?
It's just ugly.
Oh. At least it moves.
Well, you look good.
Yeah, the car is just ugly. I gotta get that thing fixed.
I was like, shoot, his car broke down now?
No.
Because you didn't have a phone there for a little bit. You didn't have much of anything.
I didn't have, man. God stripped me of everything. Was like, so what you gonna do? And I was okay.
You at least have I mean, now that you moved back, you know how excited I was when you showed up, and you were like, you and Natalie both were like, hey, we're back, we're gonna be around. Me and Trinity were pumped, but when you came back, I could even ask you stuff, and you've already brought in your own perspective because of the stuff that you've gone through. Your faith, number one, in God is just crazier, and your trust in that it just is going to work out has definitely already. I know that you're saying you're still going through it, but even your words of wisdom to me and people I've seen you talk to also, you've already learned many lessons, and you've already spoken wisdom to other people because of what you've gone through, which is a good thing.
You could say I have wisdom. I just try to ear hustle, and from the people that I see that are successful.
What's ear hustle?
Ear hustle? You never heard of ear hustling?
Have you heard of ear hustle?
I don't believe so.
I don't know what
ear
that
hustling.
is.
I guess is that a black term?
Might be.
It might be a black term.
I've never heard a white person say it.
No, okay. So you know how coaches will say, not even coaches. Your mom say you have 2 ears to listen and one mouth to shut up. Yeah. Basically, so listen more than you speak.
Listen twice as much as you speak.
Yeah. So ear hustling is like gain as much information as you can from people who have wisdom, who are where you want to be, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Listen to what they're saying. Like, actually pay attention. Like, try to like looking in their eyes and having eye contact and having a clear, conversation about what they're talking about, especially if they're at where you want to be at. You know, people don't realize that, because I've been reading this book called Rich Dad Poor Dad. People don't realize that if you want to be rich, you need to learn from a rich person, or study the habits of the rich or successful people. If you want to be somebody who just works, do what they do what those people do. But as far as what I want to be successful, so it's every successful person that I hear, whether it's just successful in life, as far as they have a family, good job, wife, kids, all that stuff, or successful financially, or successful in the NFL. I take what people say and I try to mix it. Take what you feel is for you, and use it for yourself. And when people talk to me, I just give them what I know is best for me. And let them make the decision on their own, because you can't like, it's like taking a horse to the water well. You can't make it. Yeah. You can't make it drink. So.
I like that. We're gonna name the episode Ear Hustle.
I like that.
That's the name of the episode.
On behalf of the black community, I want to take that and start using it. I don't know if it is a black thing, but I like that a lot.
I'm going to use it too. I'm going to say it all the time. I'm listening to a podcast, be like, I'm ear hustling right now.
Ear hustling, man.
You listen to audiobook, ear hustling, bro. Chill out. I'm just ear hustling.
That's what I'm telling you, man. That's what I do every day at work. I put on some earphones and I listen to audiobooks, and I'm reading
Audible? We need to get sponsored by them.
Hey, Audible is the stuff, man. That's the spot right there.
I think, so we'll talk about it on here, but I talked to Blake. I think Blake might be able to hook us up on getting us some, we'll be having to do ads every now and then and put them in our podcast.
Hey,
man, that'd be dope, man.
Whatever works.
Next level, guys. We're getting there, dogs.
Still don't have a camera today, sorry.
No. We only got one mic.
One mic, one camera. Look, we're working with it.
Well, Adrian, we appreciate you talking about it. And I know it's not the easiest conversation we've had, but, I mean, you...
Talking about it makes it easier.
Yeah.
For sure.
You've only gotten stronger from everything you've been through.
Well, like I said, the words of wisdom that you already have, even, I don't know if they help you to speak it out, kind of like one of those things where if you tell somebody else, it helps yourself.
It does, man. It does. It's weird. I call him my big brother. He's my mentor. He's like the Miami Heat mascot, Vince. Mm-hmm. He's the one who really taught me to have God speak through you to yourself, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
When you're talking to somebody, listen to yourself as well. Don't, because a lot of people give advice. They give it good advice and don't follow it.
Yeah. Some people are great at giving advice.
They suck at following their own advice.
They can't do it on themselves.
And it's good to, if you have good advice and you're that type, follow your own advice, because it's usually going to save you. Definitely. Yeah. Definitely.
Well, it's good stuff, bro.
Thank you.
All right, what are we on next? Gally, I know that you wanted to. Do you want to do the verses little segment?
Yeah, so we're going to try to mess around with a little, oh my.
Sorry.
That terrified
I tried to stop it right before it happened.
It was pretty good for not knowing it was coming.
I bet if we would have talked about it,
knows what it
everybody
is,
would know what it was,
well,
but now we talked about it too much.
All right, sorry it happened.
It's okay. Keep going.
We want to start doing a little recurring segment. We don't really know when we're going to put it in, just kind of help transition from topic to topic. Really?
And
one of them is going to be who would win. So every week we're gonna have one person gonna be the mediator, which is gonna be me this time around. I'm gonna ask you guys.
So like, who would win, Galley or Farquhar?
Yeah,
that's gonna be.
It would say
what?
Galley, obviously.
In a fist fight.
Oh,
For
In a
sure.
knife fight. Knife fight, not even a fist fight.
All right, he's stronger, yeah, but you can.
He
beat
can't
him
defend
mentally
himself. We're not
so
gonna have
well.
that one right now.
You know he can't
I'll
defend
def-
himself mentally.
Well, because
He
you're right.
collapses.
You're right.
You-
I
you
should be
can
his
get-
advocate.
You can
Wow.
get on him real quick.
you
and
hear
he'll
this,
deteriorate.
Mace? Man.
We're gonna trash him because he's not here. He's been missed 2 weeks in a row.
2 weeks in a row.
Oh yeah, you deserve that.
I'll be his
Yeah,
advocate.
you do.
No, we're not doing that.
All right, that's an example. Anyway,
I want to do that one.
I
now.
know you do.
I
So you can do that on your mediating one. But
cool.
so this one,
Cool.
we
Cool,
just
cool.
have it can be anything you name it, just two things. Put them up against each other. Who would win? You guys both get like a little spiel on why you
Oh, are
think.
we both doing this?
Yeah,
Me and Adrian?
yeah, you two are doing it.
I'm going there.
So
All
this
right.
one is going to be.
This is the second week for me to have debate.
who did
I
we say?
debated
I had to-
Austin last week too.
Okay.
You did, yeah. I know. Sorry about
I know
that.
that was a headache.
This one was going to
miss
be.
I
Austin.
low-key feel like I won though.
All right, so this one's
I
going to
know he
stay.
doesn't think that.
No, he doesn't. But I think everybody else probably thinks that I won.
This one's gonna be kind of more, current, relevant and stuff with Marvel, everything like that. So it's gonna be Black Panther and Captain America. Who do y'all think would win that?
That's kind of a race thing because like, look who.
It might
Can
turn
I have
into
Black
that.
No,
Panther?
listen.
I should get Black Panther. You should get Captain
Well, who do you
America.
think would win? Like,
Wait,
who
okay.
would win?
Who do you think? Would win?
Shoot, I don't know.
You come on.
With, let's say with shield and with armor or his
With his suit?
with his suit.
I might. Oh, dude, I don't know. This is actually a good one. I'll have to think about it for a
I
second.
think they're pretty even.
They're,
aren't they?
they're
Like,
so
pretty-
even. Here's
they're
the
pretty
thing.
close.
Here's the thing. I think Black Panther's better trained, and I think his suit is better for that situation because isn't it all made of adamantium? Is that what it's called?
No, it's not.
Adamantium. What's adamantium? Is that the stuff in Wolverine?
I think that's what his shield's made out of.
Adamantium.
That's not his suit.
What's his suit made out of? Is it just
Vibranium.
Vibranium.
Yeah.
Oh
Adamantium is the stuff from
Is the
X-Men, bro.
stuff in
Wolverine's bones.
claws?
Yeah.
You're. Oh my
Hey,
god.
sorry, y'all. Marvel ain't my expertise. Okay, either way.
I guess it's.
So they're both
Vibranium. His
vibranium.
suits is vibranium though.
And so is the shield.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so technically, Captain America can't hurt him, right? Because he's got vibranium,
No,
a suit.
no. It's just a suit though. Just because it can.
But it's super. That's
Just
like,
because it can block bullets doesn't mean he can't feel anything.
Okay.
Because
Alright.
it's weaved in the suit, so it's bulletproof. You know what I'm saying?
You
But
see how much
it's
he
not
already knows about
feeling
Black
proof.
Panther? He's getting all fired
He
up
can,
about it.
what do you? I mean, come if you look at the way him and Killmonger were fighting, or
Killmonger was dope. I wish he would have.
I wish he would have lived.
He
One
was
of the best.
Michael
villains.
He was just a cool villain, dude.
You
He
are
just-
my hero.
Michael B.
If you
is
can mentor
awesome.
me to act, if you hear this ever, man. Anyway,
He so look, podcast 37 minutes in, he's gonna pull it up. And be like,
man, I
yeah,
hope
I
so.
that guy.
I hope that guy. Yeah, he sounds authentic.
So they already kind of fought in Civil War, didn't they? Like they had that brief part in the airport. Like who won that even? I don't even remember.
In the airport?
Yeah,
think
they were fighting
technically
outside
Cap
of there.
did, because
Did he?
Cap was running.
Yeah,
and
technically
he
Cap
got
did
Black
because he
Panther
got
out.
away. But if I want to say in an actual fist fight, like
Let's say straight.
just straight like in
They
a
just
ring.
got shorts on. That's it. That's all they got
Alright,
on.
yep.
Oh, it's
Go
just
that
them.
way.
Just no suit.
Let's
just
go
them.
no suit, just them.
All right.
Cap.
Cap's got the super
Yeah.
strength.
But that's kind of cheating though.
No. He still has the strength of the Black Panther. Did you see the movie?
Oh yeah, he does have the strength of
Yeah,
the
they take the
plant.
flower. The suit
Oh,
just
you
helps
right,
him. So he
you
still
right,
is black. He
you
can
right.
jump
Oh,
30 feet
But
in the
why?
air.
So you say Cap still wins?
But
though?
Cap still, because if you see them in Infinity Wars, they're running side by side. All right, if you see them when they're fighting, they're fighting the same amount of people. All right, there's nothing too different about them besides the fact that there's a suit and there's a shield. But if you take both of those away, Cap has the better hands.
You think Cap does?
Cap has the better
I think
hands.
Black Panther may have the better hands. He's
Oh.
better trained, bro. He's been
Oh.
trained.
No, but
Trained
I
in
have-
what?
We talked about this the other day.
Training what? Kung Fu? Cap has how many different fighting styles?
When was he ever trained? It never talked about
We're
Cap
talking
being
about
trained.
Captain
at any
America.
point.
He by fighting though. He's been fighting people for like
been fighting.
50 years.
But I mean, a
Are we,
street
okay,
fighter
hold on.
that's
Are we
fought
going off
1,000
movies
people
or are we going off like
could
history?
probably not beat the UFC champion. Does that make sense? Like, if you want to one dude that's throwing fists like this,
That's true, but Cap isn't just just throwing punches. He can. Come on now. Come on.
He's not. I'm not saying that he doesn't know how to do it. I'm just saying I think
Even the computer had to help Tony beat him, and he still didn't beat him.
okay. So See, I'm not really on like a Cap or Black Panther side. I feel like I'm not a good person to debate this. But one thing that I could give Cap to is that his will, like you ain't gonna
It's
beat
different,
him.
man.
He's not going to
Cap
lose.
is different.
At no point,
Cap
you're
is
gonna
different.
literally have to murder him for him to stop fighting you.
Cap is different.
There's no way that he's gonna sit down.
You're gonna
I
have to
think.
kill
All
him.
right. I think is this what we're kind of feeling then? Maybe if the suit is involved, Black Panther might have that edge. Maybe slightly. Even,
He
but
might because
I still might give it to Cap.
This
that
is why I
will
say
thing,
this.
That will, like, bro.
Okay,
remember in Infinity War when Thanos is like beating everybody up and he's about to get Vision's stone, and like I think it was a bigger part than it should have been.
Yeah.
But Thanos comes down to punch
He's holding it.
Captain America, and he's been battering everywhere like they're nothing, and Cap stops him and holds him, and then Thanos was even like, this is weird. Like his face was even like, "Oh, you're stronger than I expected." And like then he moved.
Then he
him
had
aside.
to use the other hand.
Yeah, he had to use the other hand. Cap literally stopped this dude from closing his fist. Cap's will is far above and beyond. I think that makes him to the next level. Like that alone is part of the reason Tony Stark couldn't beat him or didn't technically beat him. Remember the very end?
Yeah.
Cap's beating his head in.
Yeah.
I mean, he did have help. He had Bucky too, so it was 2 versus 1.
At the end?
But
At the end.
of Civil War.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is right. That is true.
He still won it
That's true.
though.
He still won, but he had Bucky on his side, so it was
Yeah.
2v1.
I'm just saying that Tony is great. His mind is fantastic, but you take that
I still
suit
think
away,
Tony's the best out of all of
He's
them.
still a normal
What do you mean
guy.
best?
Like, I think he's overall, if you were to put on a point scale, he would have the highest points of like intelligence, fighting ability, most done. If you were to put anybody up against the baddest of the bad, I'd put Tony up against him anytime.
Well, I don't understand your meaning though. Like,
I think he's just. I'm not saying like best at fighting. I'm not saying the smartest, or I'm not saying anything like that. I'm just saying overall, the best Avenger is Tony Stark. If you were to put everything on a point scale, okay, you can even go coolness factor. Put
Cool, yeah,
coolness
you
1 to
definitely
100,
lost.
okay, points.
You
You
definitely
got
lost.
strength 1 to 100. You got intelligence 1 to 100, and you put all of Iron Man stuff in there. I think he wins hands down.
Hulk's pretty smart.
He's
and
pretty
strong.
He's smart now.
But he was still. But you say Hulk, but Bruce and Hulk. I mean, you're putting him in the same
But honestly,
thing.
who would you, if you were just gonna have picked one superhero to go against Thanos, who would you have picked?
Thor.
You would have picked Thor.
You're gonna pick. Okay, that doesn't make sense though. Because why would you pick Iron Man to fight Thanos when he would obviously lose?
Well, all of them would obviously lose.
Thor could have won.
but
he basically
didn't.
almost did on his own.
But he didn't.
Well, he kind of
He
did.
kept losing.
And realistically, he would have killed him.
Well, realistically he's a god, and he could have done whatever
Okay.
he wanted to do.
So he's higher on the
Realistically.
point scale than Iron Man.
Realistically, but in the movies,
Thor was disappointing, honestly.
we've
Well,
had many discussions.
I'm
about
just
that.
upset by Thor because how they did.
How they
Thor.
did him in the
Yeah,
end.
yeah. I'm with you on that. He's my
Yeah.
guy. I'm just
I
hoping
just
that
wish-
he's a big deal still, like to come. And it's not just because if that's his send off or like almost his send off, I'm gonna be really upset because they gave Cap a perfect
So you
It's
said-
not a
send
send
off.
off. He's gonna be in the Guardian of the Galaxy.
Yeah, but like what kind of? I'm saying like, is it? I want it to be
He's
like.
not gonna be a lead anymore.
I want there to be Thor's like big
I'm
time.
gonna
Thor.
say you want them to be another.
They're
Thor
not
movie.
gonna be.
I want another Thor movie.
I
Is
do
there
too.
gonna be another one?
No.
There is.
Yeah, I'm a little upset.
There, Phase 4 is all about the Doctor Strange,
Where you going?
Spider-Man. It's really, in my opinion, Spider-Man's the next
Okay.
like thing
I love
for
you.
Marvel. If that makes sense, because Spider-Man has so many different
Yeah.
villains, and with Nick Fury, you can add so many different heroes. But Marvel has over 100 heroes, and we've only seen probably like 10.
And see, that's Farquhar brings up a good point because like I have it hard to because I was never really into comics or anything like when I was
Yeah.
younger. So I only know like superheroes like now.
Not the
Like,
main
Yeah,
ones.
I know
same.
Captain and Iron Man.
Same.
But he's saying like at one point those guys weren't the main guys. either.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like these new people that are gonna be coming in that we
Yeah.
don't know now, or I don't know now, or other regular people don't know now.
Even
It'll
in the-
become household names and things like that.
Yeah, because like Ant-Man and Washington, they're bigger names too. Like Hulk ends up like coming back as an older guy. There are so many different.
Okay.
Black Panther has different people under him as well. Like there are so many different.
And there's
heroes.
there's there's Peter Parker and then there's Miles Morales too, right?
Yeah.
So it keeps going even further for that route.
Yeah.
Those were good movies, dude. Like the End of the Spideyverse.
Yeah,
That was
Into the
a great
Spideyverse.
That was a great.
I haven't
movie.
seen that.
dude. You need to see it. It
I
was a
haven't seen a
really
It's
hands
on
down good
Netflix.
movie.
Is it?
Yeah, just
Okay.
released today, I think.
Oh,
Or
for real?
yesterday,
For
something like that. I
like
got a
for-
notification on
it's
my
coming
phone.
up. Okay.
Yeah, so
I'll watch that for sure because I mean I've heard I always joke.
It's
with Far Cry 'cause
interesting.
I hate Spider-Man, but
I just hate that it's animated, but other than that, it's interesting.
Oh, that's why you haven't seen it, because you refused to see it.
Well, because the first Spider-Mans, the ones in like the early mid 2000s,
Spider-Man's
I
obsessed.
hated Tobey Maguire. I just couldn't stand him.
I mean, honestly, I do remember back in the day. I definitely went home, because when did that come out? When we were like 6, 7, 8.
I was
Yeah.
probably like, yeah, somewhere in
See,
there.
at the time when it came out, I was like, yes, I love it. Yay, Spider-Man. Now it's more like, yeah, Toby looks kind of like a meth addict playing Spider-Man.
Yeah.
No offense to
2002.
him. No, it's just like the way he looked in the show. Like the way they made it with the clothes and the way his hair was.
Yeah, and I feel
so
like this.
awkward, dude.
He just
He's
looks
so awkward.
and
the
and in a
whole
way,
movie.
Spider-Man's supposed to be awkward. You know,
Because
he's supposed to be
like this
nerdy, but
dude.
everybody looks 27.
Yeah,
Yeah.
This is the
Like-
first with Tom Holland. I
Like
think
with
it's
Tom,
the
this is
high
the first
school,
realistic high schoolish. How it's supposed, because in real life, like the comics, he was what 15 when he got the powers.
Yeah, he was
He was-
teenager
I think he was
for sure.
15.
And I think Tom
And he
Holland
was
was like still in high school.
And he was stupid smart. No, Tom Holland's like 20.
Oh damn.
But Spider-Man's supposed to be stupid smart. That's why Tony left him so much stuff. Because once Tony leaves, Spider-Man, in a way, is supposed to be the new Iron Man.
Oh.
And if
Wait,
you followed any of the,
Spider-Man's supposed to
if
be
you follow when
the new-
Avengers first came out and how they were putting out cartoons and comics and different storylines and stuff like that, you'll see that Spider-Man ends up being like the head Avenger and bringing the group back together.
Does he become like Iron Spider?
And no, he didn't change the name.
Okay, because that was just like a little.
No, he didn't change the
Thing,
name, but
it
he ends
was
up
like
he
an
ends up
actual
creating
character.
suits like
Oh,
Iron
okay.
Man. So he ends up creating. Come on, it's a spider. He has so many different suits, probably.
Bro, I wouldn't know any of that. Like that's crazy.
Yeah,
And Tom Holland, I'm an idiot. He's 23. He's older than us.
that's what I'm
Like,
saying. He's
How old
pretty
did
old.
you think he was?
He thought he was still
like
in high
17.
school.
Nah,
bro.
dude, that dude.
I was like,
He's cool too. I like
he's cool.
him.
He does
man.
seem cool. Yeah, he seems cool for sure.
He's cool
easily the
and
coolest.
all, but if he's
Garfield,
dating Zendaya,
Garfield.
We gotta
He's
fight.
dating Zendaya.
if he did, I don't know if he is.
I think they're just in a movie or the new
I
one.
hope they better
together.
be. That's
You
what
want
I'm
them to be
saying.
dating?
I don't want
She's
them
taller
to be
than
dating. The height doesn't matter.
Kinda.
Not really. No, height only matters to people
Who's
are-
short like me?
No.
It matters, bro. I'm a short person.
What
I
you
don't like
mean?
people that are taller than me, especially if they're like attractive.
Oh my god.
Nah,
I get
I don't think it's a big deal.
You're not too much shorter than me. You're like an inch too shorter than
How
me.
tall are you?
And 5'11".
Okay, how tall are you, Cole?
5'10".
Oh yeah, but you're like 5'10" and a half because I'm like 5'10" and a quarter because you've got that little edge and I have
Okay.
that little edge over Farquhar.
That's what I'm saying. So it's like
I guess it does. Yeah, I guess it didn't help my point.
Zendaya's what? She's what 5'9",
Yeah, she might not even be taller.
and
She
then
might
like
not
probably
be
6 foot with heels on. And I'm sorry, there's nothing wrong with the tall.
How tall is Tom Holland? He's not tall.
What was her
He's
first
like our
movie?
height, like
What was like
no.
her first big movie? Zendaya.
Zendaya's big movie.
I know the first time I heard of her was in Greatest Showman. I'm sure there's one before that, but that's what I know her from.
That's what I know her from too. I just didn't know. I wasn't like a big.
I
Like
thi-
Farquhar's a huge Zendaya fan. I don't know if she was. Is this on Zendaya?
It's Zendaya. If I'm not
Zendaya.
mistaken, her because she didn't really.
Zendaya.
She really started out in Disney, if I'm not mistaken. That was her first kind of big thing.
I'm just gonna type in Zendaya first movie. See what comes up. Dune. Nope, that's 2020. Okay, she's in a bunch of stuff like now. Obviously.
Yeah. She's about to be big, dude. She's about to blow up.
So I think. Zapped. 2014 Disney.
What is that?
That's what I'm saying. It was
Frenemies 2012 Disney, and then she was in
Disney.
Super Buddies.
It was Disney.
Okay, so she was
She was a voiceover. She had a voiceover, and she had the
Okay,
Disney
yep.
stuff. And then she had the first Spider-Man, which was like the first big like movie, in my opinion. And then
She's 5'10".
Oof.
I mean,
I'm okay with
that's
that.
Fine. That's fine.
Oh, so Spider-Man was before.
She's 22.
No, I'm playing.
Uh,
But yeah, she was in the first Spider-Man in 2017 and The Greatest Showman at the same time. And
Okay.
She did the voiceover with Smallfoot, and now she's doing a bunch of stuff. She does a TV show. She does a TV
Duck,
show
Duck,
of
Goose.
I don't know
I
how we
like.
started
Did you like
talking about
Smallfoot?
her.
I feel like it went under the radar.
it was okay.
It was cool.
I saw it. It was okay.
I saw it on a
interesting.
plane.
They had Common in it, which I thought was
Yeah.
he was rapping. I was like, is that Common?
Common's in a lot right now.
Common making money.
He
makes
is.
moves.
He's just doing everything.
He be working, man.
He's good at it too.
And-
like he's so fluid in his role. It's like you kind of forget he's even Common. You're like,
No, what's
oh,
crazy
wait,
is there are a lot of old school rappers who are behind the scenes now.
Oh, for sure.
Like super behind the scenes.
Well, Ice Cube.
Oh, Ice Cube with the big three, he's in China now.
That's yeah.
Do you
IT?
know how much money?
IT? That's his name, right?
Isaiah Thomas?
What's his name?
What are you talking about?
T.I.
Ice Cube.
T.I.?
I said IT. T.I. T.I. He's in the Ant-Man's, right?
Yeah.
Like, and he's in a bunch of different things.
Yeah, he's
too.
been in a lot.
Like,
yeah.
there's all these old school
Versatile,
rappers.
man.
They're
Versatile.
all. I guess they figured out how to just make money. They're like, hey, this is so
Even-
much easier. I'm gonna go do this.
Yeah, no, for sure.
I don't
That's
have
the
to
way
worry
you
about the
do it. You don't
politics.
just stick with one. Like, that gets you in the door, but once you get in the door, you start creating other doors.
Do y'all know Shaq was out there rapping for a little bit?
Like, actually rapping?
Actually rapping.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I
he
know
was out
he's
there rapping.
DJ Diesel right now.
He's DJ Diesel, but there for a little bit he was out there rapping.
And Donald Glover, I mean, he's very good in his roles.
Childish Gambino.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's very good in, like, he was in...
stand-up comedian. He's actually
Mars
cracked
with
me
Martian.
up when I watched his stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
And in Community, when he was doing Community, I like that dude.
Yeah, Childish Gambino's funny, man.
I forgot he was in Community.
He's a cool dude.
Have you seen it?
I've seen parts of him. I've seen, like, a few episodes. It's one of those things that, like, I probably won't ever watch because there's just too many shows. You know, there's only so much time and there's too many shows and just
See, it's
too
one
much.
of those shows I recommend.
Yeah.
See, I recommend
Okay,
Chernobyl.
wait.
and you still
Speaking
haven't
of
gotten
shows,
to that.
because we haven't really talked about Game of Thrones in years together. So
Yeah,
can
because
we-
Farquhar doesn't watch it.
Oh, let's talk about it now. Let's talk about it.
Farquhar's not here.
Have
It's
you
a very
you've seen
late
the
Game
end?
of Thrones
Yes,
reaction.
I've seen.
Finally, we get to do
I've
it.
seen
Yeah,
the freaking. I don't want to cuss on here. I've seen.
You can
the
cuss
end.
on here. It's okay. Just don't say that. No, you can say that word. We've got it plenty of times.
Yeah.
It's 40 minutes in, bro. If anybody's lasted this long, they don't care.
Yeah, it's just us that are really listening
Yeah,
to this.
yeah.
It is what it is.
Oh my gosh, Adrian said it on my podcast. Can't believe he did that.
No, but yeah, no. Game of Thrones pissed me the fuck off. God.
Yeah.
It sucked, dude. I didn't. Okay, listen. It didn't. Let me
Yeah.
rephrase that.
What do you mean? It never afraid? No, it did.
No, I had time to think on it.
No.
Okay, all right.
It's
I'm listening.
still not good.
I'm
Okay.
listening.
Yes, it's not
It deserved 2 more seasons.
At least
if they
the
would have
full
done
season.
the exact same thing, but they gave it 2 more seasons, I think it would have been perfecto.
Yeah.
I would have been like, oh my gosh, I love to see Danny and John together. And then when they he stabs her, I'd have cried, bro.
No.
If I had 2 seasons of them being in love, and then he does that.
Okay, I see what you're saying. If you would have seen them like ruling, and
But
being
you need
in
at
love,
least 2 to 3 episodes to get him to the point where he decides to stab her. Not
Yeah,
just,
not 30 seconds.
Not a 10-minute conversation with Tyrion.
Not even. It wasn't even 10.
It was a 30-second conversation.
It was like
you know what you're supposed to do, and everybody in the audience is like, "What's he supposed
What's
to
he
do?
supposed
What's he
to-
supposed to run away? What's he supposed to do?"
He's
Start
no,
a
in my
fight?
head. Listen, in my head, I'm like, he's supposed to tell her about herself.
Yeah, I thought he.
He's supposed to confront her about everything she's done, blatantly, honestly, with no conviction, and he ends up killing her.
I thought he was supposed to leave and go to Winterfell and build an army to go fight her. That's what I thought he was.
Well,
gonna
I
do.
even further back on that. Like, I
I'd
had
be
a
so
hard
much.
time really buying into the whole she became. I could get it, but the whole like she had that Mad Queen turn. You know what I mean?
Out
like,
of
'cause
nowhere.
she was just she was on that wall, perched up, like she just won. Like they won the battle, and then she's like, "All right, I'm gonna kill
F
everyone."
it, I'm gonna kill everybody
It's
because
like-
my one friend got murdered.
It almost would have been best if they never rang, like the bells.
Yeah.
And you'd have made a little more sense. Or, you know, it would just kind of like a little bit more of, you kind of see why. She's like, okay, if they don't want to surrender, I'm going to kill everyone.
Yeah.
But instead they did try to surrender and she killed everyone.
yeah.
And it just seemed out of place a little bit. I don't know.
Sure. That's why you need a whole season
You
to
need
show.
longer, yeah.
Imagine season 10 being the season where Daenerys starts to go insane. Like every now and then she gets some prisoners or something. She's like, kill them.
Maybe they
You're
just
like,
didn't
whoa,
know.
why'd she do that? And she's like, we don't have the resources. You're like, okay, I can give it to you a little bit. She conquers another town. She's like, kill half the people. Why? Because
I think they just wanted to get
they
it over with.
disrespected
though.
me and so
Yes,
they
that's
did.
what
They
it
just
felt
wanted
like.
to-
They
that's
were
what
like,
it was,
I'm
y'all.
done. They were like, I'm so tired of doing this.
The
Yeah, they were
writers,
done.
the writers said that they wanted to be done after season 4. HBO and George R.R. Martin kept them on to now. And then he was like, please stay on for 2 more seasons. George R.R. Martin wanted 10 seasons. And they said, nope, we're done. We're going to go work on other projects.
Because he's writing
we'll
this
finish
stuff
this
and he's
now.
like, no, this isn't how it's like.
Yeah.
I can't, like, you know, like.
But I think it's a great...
They all hated it.
I think it's a great thing for his sales and his books. Because now all the fans are going to be like, I don't know how it actually ends. So they're about to go buy all the books.
It'll probably be, because he probably waited too. It's like, oh, they screwed up on
It's
that. I'm
really
gonna
what he
this.
wanted to do,
I'm going to do what
yeah.
everyone wants me to do with
and
this.
now he'll do it right.
Because honestly, like, even if they would have done, I just hated the whole
I did too.
season, bro. Like, the best part of the season was the long night. Like, that was the best part.
I mean, it looked
And I
beautiful.
got-
It was a
it
great
looked-
looking season, spectacle for
But
sure.
I
Looked
even have
amazing.
issues with that. I have more issues with that than I do probably.
What do you mean, why?
the way he
so-
went out, the way he died, or
No, the entire year. Let me explain.
God.
Okay, I have a lot of opinions on the Long Night. Okay, the Battle of Winterfell has been teased since the very first scene of the very first episode. So this is the longest running storyline in Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Okay, up to this point.
Right.
Okay, you expect this to be one of the last things that happens, right? I'd be like, okay, this is probably going to be mentions at the very beginning, probably one of the last things that happens. I'm okay with it being resolved in season 8, but I want the whole season dedicated to this. I want to see the Night King slaughter people. I want to see them build an army to fight him. And then when they fight him, they do it logically. They don't put the entire army in front of the wall. What's the point of having a castle if you put the army outside of the castle?
The worst one is just sending all your horses to die.
Literally, bro. They didn't know.
Like, there was no strategic.
Don't worry, they got them back somehow. They have like all of them back.
First off, they didn't know. Okay, so the only way to kill the Nightwalkers was with obsidian, Valyrian steel, and fire, right?
Yeah.
They didn't know Missandei. That's her name, right? Missandei.
Yeah.
No, that's not Missandei.
Missandei.
No, Melisandre.
Melisandre.
Yeah.
They didn't know she was coming back, so they literally were like, okay, put the 100,000 Dothraki outside with their normal steel swords. We're gonna send them in to an army that we know that they cannot kill.
That's true.
They didn't know she was about to walk up and light their swords on fire. They had no idea. They were literally like, kill her. No, we'll let her walk by. And then she sets all their swords on fire. Okay?
That's a good point. I didn't
so
think
they
about
had
that.
no idea. They were about to send 100,000 troops into, first off, mist. They didn't even know it was on the other side of it. They could have been freaking cliff. The Night King could have been like, just dig a big hole. All the horses are going to fall in. They had no idea. But they charged in, got slaughtered. Demolished.
Yeah. Right.
Basically went in there, did nothing.
It was the dump.
And then they all just waited out there. Just died
the
out
whole
the
season felt like it was rushed. It felt like they didn't want to do anything.
It was very rushed.
It was so. Oh my god! I don't even know where to begin on my frustrations about the season, because the Long Night, like you said, it could have been way better. It could have been way better. Could have actually. Honestly, it could have been like 2 hours, but it's a TV show.
It should have been a full 10 episode, hour plus each episode, and like it really.
And it should have been.
And I would have been okay with
out.
bouncing back and forth between.
How would you have liked the
plot line?
Because it is easy to jump at it, but then like how would you have ended the Night King and the Cersei?
I liked
Arya. Episode. Like I would have had 8 episodes.
But who would have like? What would have happened? Like, what would you have done?
I think what they did.
I think the way they did it was dope. I think
okay, you didn't hate like the Night King losing and all that stuff.
No, the way they ended it. I mean, I feel like all of those freaking soldiers that he had, those generals that I think they should have actually been like filming, like actually like fighting something.
Okay.
I think, like you said, the Dothraki was the stupidest movie in the world. But as far as like the ending and having Arya do it, and
it was pretty sweet.
See, I like that. I like that part.
And having the way she like goes from barely escaping all those zombies, how they filmed that, and going into Melisandre. Her telling her, like, I loved that whole flow, but as far as like the whole thing in the entity, no, I hated it, dude.
Okay,
like,
that's fair. And you don't hate what Daenerys became. You just wish there was more like reasoning behind it and more build up and context behind it.
There should have been context behind it if that was gonna happen, but I still like we went through hell to get to this part. We went through Jon dying, like what, almost twice.
To really do what after?
And
to go back up to the wall.
To go back to the freaking wall.
To really do what?
Like, they did him. He should be king, but
also,
maybe, I don't know.
What's the point?
And then
that's
the whole
Bran. That's the worst.
Then
part.
the whole backstory of him of Ned taking care of him, because the whole reason the entire war started in the beginning is because of something that didn't actually happen. Like that. Right there is deep, and for you to piss on it in the 8th season,
and like whatever,
it was like the whole 1st through 7th season was for no reason, dude.
That's true.
That's what it felt like.
It was like big eureka moment, but then it didn't matter.
Then it was like, okay, well, we can still hang out, and then wait, let's move on.
And this is how I knew something was off, is because Varys. In usually the 1st or 2nd episode, it was he was like, "Good things don't always last," or something like that. And I knew something was weird, like something.
They really wanted to push the Dany's bad, and they wanted to do it real quick.
They wanted to make that transition happen so fast, and it wasn't. We love her
killing Varys, and
I know, I still love her.
I do too. But she, like, I wanted to start to hate her throughout a season, not just. I mean, we did throughout the season, but it's like it was too rushed. We had too many problems. That's not one of them that we should have been focused on.
And the thing is like you didn't really want to hate her, bro. You want to understand her. You want to know why the heck is she doing all this stuff.
Everything like that they did.
It's so odd.
All right, yeah, I get it. Whatever. Explain how you want. I get it. That's fine. But I cannot get Bran. I can't figure out why Bran is the one that was like the that
king,
makes the
obvious
what's hold on, what's the even point of all his journey? Like I understand like he knows he's queen because he knows everything.
He was the three-eyed raven to stop the Night King. That was the whole
exactly.
point of him.
That's what I'm saying. Is that like if you were to ask me, like, what would you change differently? Bran needed to have a way bigger part in killing the Three-Eyed King, the Night King.
Yeah.
He should have. The whole reason he became the Three-Eyed Raven, like you said, was to battle the Night King. The whole reason the Night King wanted to kill him.
It's because of what he knew.
I don't like this BS
memories.
of like if he kills the history of man never existed.
No,
shut the F up.
Yeah,
Bran was doing this to solve a problem. He wasn't doing this to protect the history of man.
How did that even work though? Like who else was protecting the history? Like nobody knew the history. It was just books
the only
anyway.
other person was stuck in a tree for the last 3,000 years.
Who he was.
No, and nobody cared.
No,
that's what the Meisters are for, writing up their stuff.
Yeah.
Who gives an F? Bran, shut up. You should have been used in that fight. One
he
way or
should
another.
have. I thought if they wanted to do something, if he didn't die, which he could have died, I would have been fine with that. Even if he didn't, all right, and that whole thing happened with Arya winning, it would have been very good if he would have done something like, okay, you maybe there was a part in there where he gave her the foresight, give there some reason why she killed him and why he didn't do anything about it. He was just sitting there, just ready to die. Yeah. And then even if that all happens, maybe have him like raise an army, like raise the dead army and use it for him.
Give him some mystical powers. Like I was even like he can control animals, right?
Yeah.
Make him control army animals.
We're waiting for him to take over a dragon.
Something.
We're waiting for him to take over a dragon. Never did.
Honestly, do something, dude. Yeah. You have these mystical powers. Use them. Well, maybe he doesn't, or just give them to him.
He does though. Like I think he does.
I don't know. That's part of the problem. Is you really don't know.
Yeah, I really don't know. And then same with Arya. Like.
I hope I didn't. Hold on.
Was she like?
We're good.
Can she do her face thing?
And it turned off the recording.
She can still do the face thing. Like
I
the
don't
face
know.
change, right? I mean, she just did it to the phrase. Like
I think
she
so.
could.
Maybe
she just lose it in her little walk up north.
No, I think she is.
Because she could have been the general. Like that could have been cool.
I think she was choosing who to be and who. I think she was choosing to fight as Arya because she was home. I don't think they wanted to complicate it with trying to add faces in it. Plus, they already showed the faces in her bag the season before. So
see, I'm okay with her not having faces.
I just liked it if she was like the general, and that's why she was like in that midst of everything, because like the whole army was surrounding this like these trees out there, and like somehow she like jumps and like infiltrates the generals and army. I'm saying like it would be cool if she was a general and then like took off her face and she was.
It's one of those situations where it's like, okay, this was this. They were saved by coincidence. Like she got there just in time.
That was a pretty big
really lucky. Like and she snuck through this army of undead that's encircled this place, so it's not like any of them don't know that she was there.
No,
like
the thing is like.
I understand she's a super assassin, but I still want to see her do her work.
Yeah, and that's the thing is they didn't show a lot of people in that context of doing what they.
And
then the way the dragons died was so.
Yeah,
that was weird.
I got to the point where the dragons stressed me out more than they did.
They did stress me out.
Yeah. It was more of just like I know that they're these. It's basically nukes. You basically have these nukes, and I don't know. They didn't add anything to the story to me.
Well, they also tried to kill them in just the stupidest ways because they're like, how do we stop dragons?
Yeah.
Like, we'll fly them at like 100 feet, where they're easily being able to get shot, and then just they're dead.
If you genuinely had the nukes that you had back then, like these freaking dragons can do whatever they want.
Yeah.
Why are you treating them like you do? Like these enemies are shooting you with the only devices in the world that can kill you, and you can fly straight at them. Why?
I don't know. Why are you flying like under a cliff level so you can't see them?
You could literally go anywhere, and you're gonna go straight. Why don't you head backwards, circle them, and go around? I'm sure that ship won't fly. Turn around super quick. Like just do something else.
The good thing that came out of the Daenerys Mad Queen thing is the beautiful spectacle of like the dragon going ape shit in King's Landing.
Yeah,
like that was so cool to watch.
I heard you heard Metallica For Whom the Bell Tolls, that song. Have you heard that song before? For Whom the Bell Tolls? It was this Metallica song. It's super good. I heard it dubbed over that scene. It was so dope.
Okay,
bro.
I can imagine because it's
I'm
a
gonna show
very
y'all
cool
later.
scene.
Because I actually think it got taken off because he got copyright strike. But
Oh,
it was super dope because it's an awesome scene.
Yeah,
Like seeing the city burn is cool, and
it
even
seemed like
the
a
battle
dragon's
going
full
on. And
power and everything because they kind of tease it a lot, but this is like, all right, it's going.
this is what
insane.
they're used for.
Yeah.
I did like. They talked about it after one of the shows. They were talking about how they wanted to give the perspective of what it's actually like in a city when that's happening. So like Arya running around like trying to stay alive while this giant monster is destroying the city.
everything.
I liked that. I liked that perspective. I'll give them that one. That was cool.
Mm-hmm.
But that's one of those things like, okay, that's good for a one show deal.
But you still gotta. I mean,
But I want the storyline to be dope.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. You still gotta get over the fact that she just destroyed.
See, I wanted there
all
to
these
be a
innocent
like. I
people
don't know the
after-
result or.
This is what crazy to me is like she destroys the city, and talks about she doesn't really even question herself about killing all those people throughout all of season 8, and like throughout all really the 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th season was all about freeing people and
from tyranny
and keeping them from. She didn't break the wheel, and she doesn't want to be like the. And it's like I get they wanted to make the twist like that, but at the same time, with how big of a build up they had of her and how the foundation was, there's no way Missandei. No offense to the great role she played, but there's no way Missandei's doing her like that.
I agree.
No, there's no
100%.
way. Like
she went through some ish.
Like her dragon and Missandei, cool, but she's been through so much stuff that shouldn't have freaking turned her like that.
They tried to make it be like the straw that broke her back.
It they didn't build it up enough.
It wasn't enough.
If they were gonna do that, Missandei should have been like her to raped or something, or whipped and
they tried to do it like
nude up top or something like something extremely like
heartbreaking.
Like her head should have been on a spike right then and there. You know what I'm saying? Like,
they tried to do something with having Varys kind of like go around. Like she felt like she was losing her advisors. Jon is like proclaiming he's actually the rightful heir. So I see where they tried to go with it, but it still didn't.
But even that
warrant
situation,
enough. Like
that situation, Jon's like, I'm still on your side.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter
Jon
what
was
anybody
it
else
doesn't matter
says.
what anybody says.
Like
good.
literally, I don't understand. In the show, I didn't understand why they're like, well, whether he wants to or not, he'll be king. I don't understand that. I don't understand that even a little bit. If he says, guess what? I'm not going to lead your effing armies. He's not going to lead their effing armies. Like, he's not going to do it. That's not going to happen. If he said, and even if he gets their armies and he says, guess what, guys? We're with Daenerys. That's what we're going to do.
Right.
Okay, but I'm the queen. Well, then, if we absolutely have to, king and queen, I'm on your side. I don't want to rule.
I wanted to see them rule. I wanted to see
Siblings,
her.
but who really gives an F at
Nobody
this point?
cared.
It's Game of Thrones.
Nobody
cares.
Nobody knew.
We're all cool with it. The Targaryens do
and
it
it's
anyways.
like aunt
so
too.
it's like
she's his aunt actually.
Oh, is it aunt?
Sibling.
Okay,
Yeah, so
that's not
it's
even a big deal.
already
So
off the freaking charts anyway.
It doesn't
so.
even. Yeah, it's irrelevant in
And
Game
they-
of
The
Thrones.
Targaryens do it all the time. That's why I made all their
So
babies.
here's the thing, though. Would it have been? I was thinking about this after because I thought it would have been so cool because I loved like how everything looked, like the whole battle at the end, everything was amazing. I didn't like how obviously that she had to be killed for it all. That I hated that.
Yeah.
So what if like, she was feeling some type of way, like she was not happy about how she came, she was like broken, everything like that, and Jon was kind of consoling her, and he knew he still didn't want to be king, so maybe he and her left. He was like, you need to leave, this isn't for you, and this isn't your house anymore, something. So that way she wouldn't have to die. You know what I mean? Like she and him would go off to the Dragonland or whatever. That way Jon would go up to the freaking north like
I
a
would
loser.
want closure. I would still want. See, I know everybody hates on Bran being king. I like it in the sense that I'm like, okay, the dude is super impartial. He won't make emotional decisions such as
Tyrion should have been king.
But he has Tyrion as his hand.
Yeah.
Which
I
Tyrion?
don't know about Tyrion being king.
Yeah, I don't know about Tyrion being king.
Bran's
Bran
the
being
little
king.
man.
He should be the hand. He's right where he should be.
What has Bran done that has warranted him being king?
Other
over,
than him
Tyrion?
knowing everything, I get it. He hasn't done anything, and he's low key.
He hardly knows everything. He fell off of a balcony and somehow
He
wouldn't
knows
was,
everything
fit.
now. Well, he was already
No.
predestined, bro. The balcony thing just happened by happenstance.
No, he shouldn't have been king.
I think
Not
he
at all.
should have.
No.
Well, hopefully-
out of that group, who else would you have picked?
Out of the group that was sitting there after Jon was captured and
No, you wouldn't have picked Sansa. No, you would have picked.
No. But I loved how they
you
did it.
wouldn't.
I loved how she became like the king or the queen in the north.
I'm
How
fine
that
with
was
that.
segregated. Everything. I like that they have their own thing now.
Even her story a little bit. I'm like, you're being a little irrational too, in the sense of for what we expect to happen in the story.
Yeah, because
Now-
how she hated Danny, and we're
Like,
at that
from-
point we're still like, chill.
You
bro.
don't have a
Like,
reason to hate her right
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
And so, like, I mean, you say that, well, she had this sixth sense about what was
No,
going to happen.
no.
You had really no evidence that that was going to turn that way. That flipped on a dime. Like, stop acting like she knew.
Yeah.
She didn't know.
Writers didn't know. They were probably making
The
up as they
writers
went.
didn't know, 100%. They were just
Like, all right, episode 6. What are we gonna do? Oh,
Yeah.
we'll have Danny kill everyone. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's
okay.
go.
We just know that we want to kill her at the end with John, because I did know that they did want John to kill Danny. They knew
And
that
if they
was
had
the
to do it,
end.
that's fine. It's just again, like what all we said is
I
just
wanted-
build it up better.
build it up
Build
better.
it up
I
so
wanted
much better.
more
Don't
time.
half-ass it,
Yeah.
which I felt like they did.
They
feel
half-assed
like-
it
yeah.
for sure. Cause
Well,
they
I don't know. The new one, the new series that they're talking on. I mean, Game of Thrones isn't going away. You know, it's the biggest show ever. So they're gonna spin off with it, and maybe it'll be interesting. I think people. I even have
They're
this
doing
way
a
with like.
prequel.
Yeah, I have this way with Endgame though. It's like Endgame is like the pinnacle. So everything that they're gonna do now obviously can't be better or more popular. You know, but that's not the right way of thinking, especially in
Yeah.
today's age where things keep doing that. So maybe the new Game of Thrones could like have an insane amount of character development. And,
It's not.
I don't know.
It's not.
But all I know is there's going to be Game of Thrones.
story.
There's gonna
Good story when
be
it
the
comes down to
the
it.
first season's gonna be like huge for Game of Thrones fans. We're definitely
Yeah.
gonna watch the first season.
And they'll work
And-
hard to
but unless they
regain our trust.
Well, if Martin's the one kind of spearheading it, I mean, it's his storyline that would
isn't
be
he
much better
spearheading
fleshed out.
in
I
this
think
one
he
too?
is. So,
Yeah. He's the one who picked off which spinoff.
and I think he wrote these books, or I think he already wrote them. I don't remember. I don't know. He has all
You know
these
what
other
they're
types
called?
of books like split off. No,
I have some of them. A lot of them are just description books in the sense that they're like kind of just telling about the world.
but it is exciting to see kind of like this, like Knights and Dragons type stuff is very popular now. Because then you've got the Witcher series. I think Hulu's doing that, right? Or
Hulu.
Hulu. So that's supposed. I mean,
Oh,
that
is it
looks-
Amazon Prime?
It might be. I don't
One
know.
of them. And then you got
But
the
it
Lord
looks
of the Rings
phenomenal.
coming back.
The Lord of the Rings is Amazon. Amazon's doing the Lord of the Rings.
We're
which
doing a
is what-
series.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
it's like
it's
the
supposed to
biggest
be-
budget ever, or
Yeah,
something
it's
like
like
that.
the biggest TV budget ever. It's like $10 million an episode, I think.
It's something crazy.
And the Game of Thrones, like at its peak, and like the first, like I think average Game of Thrones episodes like 4.2 million, and at the very end it was like 8 million per episode, and this one just like
Starts
10
off the
million
bat.
per.
You know how scary that is? You have to have the best people doing the best work to start off with $10 million. You're saying, yeah,
I think
this
they
is
bought the rights for like $1 billion from Warner Brothers anyway. Like they were like going
who's
all
doing it?
in. Amazon is.
Amazon.
Yeah.
yeah.
For
they'll-
Lord of the Rings.
You know what? They'll beat that till it's dead, whether it's successful or not.
I'm happy.
All
'cause
you're gonna see is ads
Lord of the
about
Rings
it
wasn't
for the
beat
next-
till
when
it was
finally
dead.
comes out.
Lord of the Rings was like it felt like prematurely cut.
Well, you know how many actual books he wrote about his like world? It's crazy.
Is it all intertwined? Like
Yeah, they're all just
all
basically
Tolkien stuff is intertwined?
not all Tolkien stuff, but this like
But that-
Silmarillion, the Children of Hurin, like all these different things are the Hobbit. They're all about Middle Earth.
I just hope there's not too much CGI. I want them to reel back a little.
I
bit.
don't like CGI.
Hobbit was
Like
I
the
like
Hobbit
Hobbit was
CGI.
good.
The Hobbit was a good story, but I didn't like the Hobbit CGI compared to like the original Lord of the Rings costumes. I thought that.
I didn't finish all. I didn't watch all the Hobbits.
For really?
I watched the first one. I watched part of the second, and then
I feel like they're not
it's
amazing, but I feel
Listen,
like you need to watch
that's
it.
one of those
Yeah,
things that
watch
I'm
it.
like, that's right up my alley. Like you would expect me to. I know
Well,
all
it's
the
more. It's
lore.
more than just right up your alley. I mean, you're like the Lord of the Rings guy, so like that's kind of bizarre, but
It's because I don't care about it. Like I don't care about the Hobbit.
that's fair.
Not that I don't
mean,
care about
get
the
it.
story of the Hobbit.
I get
don't
it, that's
care
fine.
about the movies because everybody's like they're not good. So I looked. I don't think the
They're
first one wasn't
not.
that good.
They're not. They're definitely not like as detailed as
112.
of a Lord of the Rings, but the Hobbit is. I mean, it's.
I
Worth
mean,
the-
yeah, the
it's
Lord of the
worth
Rings
a look.
is so good.
It's worth a look. And if you think about Lord of the Rings, yes, those were real costumes, bro.
Mhm.
Do you know how much time and effort it is to put on that?
I mean,
much
I can
makeup
imagine, but
now, especially
made it
now.
look
Those
Great.
armies.
it made it look
You
so
guys remember those
good,
freaking army battles?
And
Oh
all
my
those
God.
people have to come in.
and it was so
do-
dark. That's why I love Lord of the Rings.
Dun, 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 dun,
Yes.
You have to have a ridiculous amount of people.
I wanted
on
to be.
hand
Yeah, dude.
to
You're
do
right.
that.
How many? They had more extras.
They had a lot of extras, man.
God.
That'd be so sick.
Because what I didn't realize is that in Game of Thrones, when you would see like, $1,000 rock here or something like that, you really only see like 30.
Yeah.
And then they'd have a
keep
bunch of,
copying
like-
pasting
Yeah.
or
And then
whatever.
like that one scene where they were circling Dany after the dragon like left her or whatever.
Yeah.
And on that grass field. that was like 20 riders, and everything else was CGI.
But they just like take it, copy paste,
And if
like 1,000 times.
and if you see it, like you can see the like donkey horse type thing that is doing. It's really weird.
Interesting.
All right, well, guys, we're at 1 minute and 13 minutes. An hour and 13 minutes. Man, what's going on? Am I
Right.
drunk? Golly, I'm
Little,
struggling today.
Little speed round right here. We wanted to touch base quick on the SpaceX had launched Tuesday, the 25th. I guess that would make it if you're listening to this, obviously on Monday or later. It's the Light Sail 2, so it's pretty cool. It's the first spacecraft that's completely devoted or completely powered by.
It's not the first.
Or I guess it's the first of something. It's not the first. It's Light Sail 2, so obviously it's been the first one.
Yeah.
But it's I guess it's the most powerful, the latest, whatever. That's solely powered by the sun.
Photons.
So what that means, I guess, for technology and space flight, I mean, this will give them so much research on everything. I mean, this is their this is their leaning tool to go faster than light, or almost faster, like almost to light speed, is by using the power of light. So this is obviously an infant stage of a technology tree that we have no idea what will come with it, but it's going away from that standard, chemical propulsion, which we've really seen. I mean, there's limits to that. We won't be able to do too much more with you can get it more and more efficient, but you're going to run out of chemicals that can, you can't have that propellant always like that. It's a fuel system that burns.
That's
You don't
crazy
want
that
that.
So this is, if
that.
this ends up working, because we're still figuring it out, it will be the first one to run through light, which is the photons. But it's not the first one that's been tried.
Okay.
I think NASA was the first one to send one up, I believe. Maybe it was SpaceX that tried it earlier, like 2 years ago.
So what are they trying to? What are they doing with it? Are they putting it up is it like a satellite?
As of right now,
is it just gonna go? Is it gonna send it on a path or something? It's just gonna go for a while until it stops.
what this says, what they've sent up there is 24 satellites. So I assume it's got satellites hooked to it that they're going to branch off and then it's going to do their thing. An atomic clock, and the ashes of 152 people.
Well, that's on the Falcon.
Falcon Heavy.
Yeah,
but
that's also
as
carrying
well as the sails.
Because the Falcon Heavy is pretty cool too. That's the biggest. It's the most powerful ship we've ever used to transport materials into space.
And then return.
It can carry so much, and it can return. So I don't know. Maybe you really wish that we would have kind of had this type of engineering and everything that we're doing now back in the 60s when we had the momentum. But
so basically, just to give you an idea,
50 plus 100 years, people will be living or
there'll
traveling
be
to space. And
probably
back.
20 years we'll see people on Mars. We'll see the first people on Mars.
You think so?
Yeah, it'll probably be researchers for
20
a while,
years.
but
That's
their
hope it's
plan.
20 years, yeah.
I mean, their
That's
plan is like
quick.
15 years or 10 years or something
So
like
I believe, me and Trinity were talking about this the other day. I think, and I hope I'm so wrong, but I think the solar system is human beings' limit. Because think about how far away the next solar system
that. It's so far.
It's so far.
Unless we get something unless we do something.
And we don't travel faster than light. It's physically impossible. So
Yeah,
they
you
say.
can't.
So we're going to have to create wormholes or something
Right.
like that.
So unless we're able to
bend the space and time.
Unless we're able to do some type of warp, something that's really kind of bizarrely insane, which is theoretically possible, I guess, but unless we develop something insane like that, we won't know. There will be the
literally
limit
gonna have
of
to be
our
like
solar. And our solar
teleportation.
system, it won't be easy to get to places here even. I mean,
No.
it takes a while.
Think about how much technology we have, and honestly, sending humans into our atmosphere isn't easy.
No, sending humans to the moon is like, dang.
It's like,
that's
this
huge.
is still really freaking hard,
Yeah.
and that's the closest thing to us, and it's
Yeah.
not that far.
Yeah,
It's
no,
not.
exactly.
So imagine Mars.
I'm just hoping, best case scenario, there's just super nice aliens that are like, hey, we've been watching you guys. We're at this point now. Here's all this technology. Boom,
Did you see
15
the-
years, we're looking like, Star Wars.
Did you see the most recent Joe Rogan?
Oh, of course, Bob Lazar.
Yeah.
That was mind-bendingly
I
insane. You
low-key
need to
now
watch
believe
that.
in aliens.
No, high-key I do now.
I believe in aliens.
and I don't, people are going to listen, he's just...
We believe in aliens.
Yeah, we believe in them
Farquhar
now.
doesn't. I guarantee you. He believes space is fake.
Dude, here's the thing.
Those are the white people.
Hey,
Joe,
you listen
bro.
to this
Those are white
podcast, bro?
people.
It's like 2 hours. You listen to it.
You'll believe in
it.
aliens.
You'll
after,
believe it
dude.
too.
Oh.
This
my
dude,
gosh.
he saw them and he knows they have technology that we don't understand, bro. Here, crazy. So after I was listening to it, I was working at my job and I was going to the courthouse. And on the drive, I'm listening to it and it hits me. I've experienced a UFO. At least is what I think at the moment. And I'm like, I have a story. And I in my head, I knew 100% what was happening. I was with Dad. We were driving down the road, and I saw something lift and shoot across the sky. Well, I ended up calling him because I felt funny about this memory. I was like, something's off. So I give him a call. I say, Dad, I'm listening to this podcast about UFOs. I can't remember if this was something that happened to us. So I'm going to tell you what I remember. Tell me if this is something that happened. So I tell him the story. We're driving down the road. We see there's a mountain, not like a mountain, but like an Oklahoma hill, right? You can't see past the horizon.
Right.
And behind it, it's nighttime because we're going from Beggs to Glenpool. Okay? And we see this bright orange light start to lift off behind this mountain, okay? Super slow, kind of looks like a helicopter hovering, going straight up, okay? But you can't make it out, just a bright light. And then all of a sudden, it shoots across the sky. A quarter of a second, it goes from still to the other side of the sky, and you can't see it, okay? I tell Dad that, and he said, oh, that didn't happen to you. That happened to me. I told you in that car ride. When we make those transitions, I would tell you that story. So when I'm 5 or 8 or whatever I was, I had taken the story and put it in my brain. And so Dad elaborated some more. He said, well, actually, this is what happened. I was working at a ranch. We were down there. I was making this trip. He sees this thing rise up, shoot across the sky, and he said, man, there's nothing else I could attribute it to other superior technology to us. Because there's no... Well, I told him, I said, Dad, that's exactly what this dude was saying. He's saying that it didn't function with our gravity. And Dad was like, no, this doesn't function with our gravity. It literally sat there, and then without any acceleration, instantly it was going to a speed that your eyes can't even make out. He said, I didn't see it move. I just saw the streak that it left. That was it.
That's wicked.
And so, yeah.
Adrian, you gotta listen, bro. All right, you listen to the first 20 minutes, you don't like it, turn it off. But I promise in 20 minutes you'll start being hooked. You'll be like, all right, I'm gonna listen to this dude a little bit more. It's
Dude's not crazy. That's the thing. The dude didn't want to talk about it, bro. He says, I don't want to talk about this. And we're like, please? And he's like, I really don't want to talk about this, guys. I don't want to. And yet, he still did. And it blew my mind.
There's
effing aliens out there, bro. We're not
been
the
telling the
smartest
story
things in
the
universe.
same way for like 30 years. And so he was telling Rogan, like, this wants to be the last time that, like, I just want to have this, like, this wants to be the last time I want to say this story. Like, I'm going to tell you the story. And I was watching a video on that today, and Rogan was kind of reflecting on it. And he was saying that he told him, like, this is the last time I want to talk about it like that. Like, I just want to explain everything how I know it to be. You guys take what it with you will, you know. And he's not arguing back and forth on it. It's just like, this is what happened to me. And he's accredited for working at the physics center, that base. He's accredited for, I mean, he's been numerous times, he's been proven right when he made claims in the 80s.
The freaking new the
element 115.
The new element?
Yeah,
he
had claimed there was this element 115 that was how these aliens or whatever powered this reactor, was their fuel.
In the 80s, he said that.
He said that, and they're like, that doesn't exist, anything like that. And it was like 2014 that they were like, oh yeah, that whatever.
Like 5 years ago, they said, oh, we've discovered element 115. And he's like, I told you guys.
He did the same thing with, I just went blank. There was another one that was another example of that too, where there was some. Oh, it was gravity waves, because how he had said that the machine was able to manipulate gravity into waves instead of, because how we at the time had associated gravity was just with like the larger the object, the higher the gravity, and it was always Right. And they were saying that NASA observed when two black holes collided in like 2004 or 5 that it emitted gravity waves, so that they found that gravity was waves and like radio waves. It was based around that. So he had said that 20 years before. Bro, it's just things like that. And I'm telling you, like you listen to these alien guys and they're like crazy wacko, but this guy is like a super articulate, like, where did he go to school? MIT maybe?
MIT,
I think he went to MIT.
I think he went to MIT.
Super, I mean, educated, physicist. I mean, if he's wrong, it's like the best Ponzi scheme ever, because it's been the same story for 30 years, and that's hard to do if you make up a lie.
At least this is the story he portrays. It kind of ruined his life when he started.
Oh yeah, they had FBI raiding him.
They had, I mean, it was just
all sorts of stuff.
People still camp out in front of his house.
Yeah,
he's like, I just don't. I want to be left alone.
He doesn't even like talk. Like, he says that people send him stuff on UFOs, and he hates it.
He says, I don't pay attention.
I
to
wasn't
UFOs.
even like gravitated towards the UFO part of this whole thing, like the alien phenomenon.
Yeah, he said, I don't care about aliens.
Like, he said the technology I was working on was so, like, it was so fun. It was so interesting because it was so different. And
you know what
that was what he was driven by, was the technology aspect of it.
The coolest quote I think he had was when he attributed to the reactor that he was working on, basically saying, if you take a nuclear reactor today, something that's very high-tech that we use to power our world, take it and put it in, what do you say, the Victorian era, basically when they've just discovered telescopes.
Yeah, they'd start tinkering with it. They might try to take it apart.
They would never figure it out.
No, ever.
But they would know it does something. But they'd never figure it out.
And he even said, like, they'd take it apart and, they'd get exposed to all this radiation that would kill them. But they would, at the time, they would have no idea the concept of radiation at all. Like, that is such a weird thing to people back then. He's like, crazy. And we're messing with this reactor that could be, thousands of years more advanced than what we've got now. We have no idea what we're dealing with.
So you're saying that they spotted a UFO or found one?
9
He says they've got 9. He says they've got 9 of them. Mm-hmm. And also little things that make it even more convincing, like how they were broken. All the scientists were broken up into pairs. So he was working on propulsion with his partner. Another guy was working on gravity.
And only one of them would be a lead.
Yeah, and they couldn't talk to each other. So like if you and Colt were working on the reactor and I was working on the navigation, we couldn't talk about it with each other. So he only knew stuff about the reactor, and then like he'd only seen things that other people were working on, or because they wouldn't let people talk with each other, the scientists.
Oh, okay.
It was super interesting. I don't know. It was, again, it could be completely a lie, but it's one of the best lies ever.
So one of the things that I think about when you think about taking a nuclear reactor and put it back in time is Arthur C. Clarke. He was like this futurist and this writer. His quote is really cool because I like to think about fantasy and I like sci-fi and stuff. His quote is, "Advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic." So think about that. If that stuff that we have, we know that it's technology, but like, could you imagine seeing something flying or floating, or even now we think about something that levitates off the ground by manipulating gravity. We don't understand it, so we almost want to attribute it to magic. We're like, this is just magic. There's no other explanation.
Dude, if you brought a pistol back into like medieval times, people, what the hell are you doing?
You just killed somebody from a distance.
Bro, he's killing people with his hands.
Yeah.
Like he's got a glove on, he's killing everyone when he's looking at them.
Yeah.
Like little things like that.
Advanced technology is indistinguishable.
And you sound so
magic.
ignorant when you're like, oh, that's impossible. But like, is it?
Think about what we're literally doing right now. This is a form of telepathy. We're recording our voice so that other people can listen to the words that are coming out of our mouths and our minds. That's what we are doing right now.
Sure.
If you were in another era and you started clicked a button and you heard somebody talk to you from a
like,
device,
God,
you would think that there's a God talking to you.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah, back then.
You can go in that room right there, turn on hot water, get hot water, and as much of it as you want, dude. We live in the future, but we're only going further.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? We can't imagine what we're gonna go into next. We literally can't.
I think you'd find it very interesting. You should just listen to it.
Adrian tuned out about 30 minutes ago. He's like, listen, I don't care about this stuff.
It's so interesting. It's so interesting.
I love
Otherwise,
it.
other than that, the only thing I wanted to touch base on was real quick, because we kind of talked about it with Harwell. NBA free agency is about to start.
And again, you know a little bit about this, Adrian, right?
Yeah.
A little bit.
So I just wanted to...
You were like, I feel like I need to listen to this.
Well, I just wanted to go in and kind of... Because when we'll be recording, or when this will come out, and then obviously by the next time we do the pod, most everything will already be set in stone, like who's going where. So I want to kind of do like a little prediction, see how I'm doing, if I'm right or wrong.
Okay.
So kind of starting, I have a list of like the biggest 9, I think. So starting at the top, Kemba Walker, I think he's going to the Celtics.
Ooh.
I think Charlotte's a little too small for him. I think he's getting big time. I think the other side of that, why the Celtics would have him, is because I think Kyrie's going to the Nets.
You think what?
Yeah, I mean, it's been Nets or Knicks for him, and I think he's going Nets also because that would be direct result of D'Angelo Russell going to the Wolves.
Okay.
Which I want so bad. Him and Cap, good friends.
So biased.
Oh, 100%. But
So biased.
Isn't it?
I mean, these things all kind of have to happen if you know, like, the Nets wouldn't sign Kyrie and have D'Lo. Like they wouldn't be able to support that because they also want to bring in KD, which I don't think KD stays.
He's not going to the...
He declined his player option. I think he's going somewhere, and I think it's New York, and I think it's either the Knicks or the Nets. And him and Kyrie have said they wanted to play together. So if Kyrie's going to Nets, KD maybe goes to Nets. They have like $130 million. Like they can sign 2 max deals.
Yeah.
Or they have like
easily
$67 million or something like that, or $80 million. I don't remember. They have some crazy amount where they can sustain 2 super max deals.
For sure.
If they get rid of D'Lo, that is. So Anyway, I think Jimmy Buckets, I think he's leaving Philly. I think he's going to the Rockets. I think he might be a pretty big integral piece.
Nice
Could you imagine that
Rockets.
locker room, though? I mean, the James Harden, CP3, and Jimmy. I mean, it would either be like amazing or it would be oh my god, it would be like a dumpster fire. Yeah. I think Tobias Harris is staying in Philly. Al Horford, I think he's going to the Clippers. I think he's out of the Celtics. I think you already kind of talked about he's running for the Celtics.
Yeah, I think Al Horford's leaving for sure.
He'd be a good asset for them because I don't think the Clippers are getting Kawhi. I think Kawhi's staying.
You think Kawhi's staying?
I think he's staying. I think he's going to run it back again and see what's going to happen. He might just do one or I don't know, but
I think he's staying. I want to say.
And then I think Clay is. I think Clay's going to the Lakers. I think Clay's going to the Lakers.
Shut up.
Yeah, because I think today, as of today, Wednesday, he came
out
and
of line.
He said that he was open to talking with other teams if the Warriors wouldn't pay him the max contract. Bro, he just tore his ACL. Like,
that's it. But
the Warriors have got too much to pay right now. I think they're like, hey, we can't pay an ACL guy a max deal, a 5-year max.
It's Klay Thompson. He's earned them. What, 3 championships?
But all right, so he's such a good two-way player. He's all right. He's amazing. He's amazing in the perimeter with his 3, obviously. But he's so good. He's a top 4 or 5
Klay is the type of person
defender.
that if you put him on a team, he's gonna make that team better.
I do agree. I do 100% agree. But can they pay him a max? I don't know. I think he may be even just lured to LA with LeBron and AD. He's an integral part there. He could be so good with that. You'd have the big, you'd have the all around. LeBron would kind of assume that point guard sometime role and everything. Like he just kind of take over those.
Right.
And then you've got Klay to be that good 2-way, and he's that deep perimeter threat.
That consistent.
Yeah, that would be. You got a big 3 right there. That's pretty ridiculous.
Yeah. The only reason I say Klay isn't going is because he's been in Golden State this whole time.
He has.
It would be crazy. Like they would seriously have to not pay him at all, or something. I feel like even if he says it only if they'll pay me the max, because they're gonna take care of him, man. Like all the stuff.
I know they will.
They're gonna take care of him.
About how awesome technology is. Literally, I just went to a bowl, excreted my urine into it, pulled a lever, and now it disappeared. I'm just saying.
But I think that's been around for a little bit.
How often?
The toilet has been around.
Still, bro. Think about it. The other people
know,
had to do it in a hole. That was it.
40s?
I'm gonna type in first toilet.
Anyways, keep going. I just did that, and I was thinking, man, this is dope. This is so cool.
I think Kemba's. You might be right about Kemba Walker. I'm not exactly sure about Kemba because
1596. Hey, they've been around for a minute, bro.
Yeah, they've been around for a minute.
Okay, that's still.
But Kemba,
humans have been around what you could say at least.
Chill. That's still a decent amount of time.
It's only 500 years since
You could've picked
humans
other things,
existed.
oh my god. Anyway,
So you're gonna take the toilet for granted?
I'm taking.
You're gonna take the toilet for granted?
No. Okay. Obviously, when it
Go
comes
get
to
a bucket and start peeing in a bucket.
that's different, obviously. But I'm saying technology-wise,
Indoor
it's
plumbing?
not. It's not.
I'm pretty sure
example,
indoor
thing.
plumbing has not been around since.
I'd say a
15.
microwave or a refrigerator is insanely. It's if you mind blowing to think that you can, for the first time in history, you can kill something or you can have food and it won't go bad within a day or two. You put that in the refrigerator and it's good. That's pretty much.
Sure.
It's a lot more mind bending than a freaking toilet.
Why?
What do you mean why? Because you have electricity and coils and you have
That's not even outside your house. That's literally inside your home. You have a room dedicated for pooping.
That's a lever.
And then when you do it, it
there's
disappears.
water pressure in a lever.
Exactly.
You can replicate
it's
that.
still cool.
All right.
You can replicate that too.
No, you cannot.
At
Build
this
me a
point, yes, you
refrigerator.
can. Build me a toilet. Go build me a toilet. An
I
indoor
could build
toilet.
you a toilet before you could build a refrigerator, guaranteed.
Probably.
Guaranteed.
That doesn't take away its value.
It does.
You can't build. I could build the refrigerator before you could build this computer. The computer obviously is more
Those are
technologically
vastly
advanced.
different, yes.
So is the freaking toilet, bro. It's still dope.
No.
Don't act like pooping and getting it gone is not
you
dope.
lost that
I
argument,
don't like
Cole.
it. No.
Bro, I didn't lose that argument.
You lost that
You
argument.
lost it for sure.
How did I lose
The
that
reason
argument?
why you lost that argument is because there's controlled temperature in the refrigerator.
That's insane.
Did you look up indoor plumbing? Or did you just look up...
I typed...
Because outhouses?
I typed in first toilet.
So you're telling me you want to poop in an outhouse? Or what do they call the outhouse, right?
They were outhouses back in the day.
But what's the ones that they take to events?
Porta potty.
Porta potty. You want to poop in a porta potty?
That
technology
is
like
that shit sucks.
everybody's done it.
Look up.
But think about how cool
first
that is.
indoor plumbing.
First indoor plumbing. Hey,
I'm looking
whoever's
up, too,
listening to
'cause-
this, get your opinion on this stuff, too.
Yeah, for sure. Leave us a comment below.
1829.
Exactly. Thank you. That's
up the first
1829, so
fridge.
200 years?
Because I'm pretty sure the first fridge was
for
like
sure.
1950 something.
But technically, I mean, they put it underground in basements, too.
1923.
The computer's better than all the... Like, I don't see why
Well,
you're
for
talking
sure.
about... I don't understand
I'm
why you're
We're not
saying...
talking
I
about
was
the
bringing
computer.
Is the
back to
argument
example.
really
The
which one's more
argument-
technologically advanced, or is the toilet not cool? Because I'm saying that's freaking cool.
It's cool, but it's like a weird example. Like, you can look around and say everything. Like, we were talking about space
Exactly.
technology, and then you went to the toilet. Like, I'm saying you could have done something other than just a toilet.
That's not an argument. You're just saying that's a
Kinda.
stupid example. It's not a stupid example because if you
Dumb
didn't have
example,
that,
for sure.
it would your life would be very different, as well
Yeah.
as it would for the fridge.
Literally, basically everything here would be. I mean, if we're out without light switches, we'd be like vastly different. If we didn't have lights,
I don't understand what you're saying. I'm just saying it's cool, and you're telling me it's not cool, but it is cool. You've
No,
already said that it was cool.
You said
you came
the
back in
toilet was
here-
technologically advanced.
It is.
And we're
I
saying
still think it
That's
is.
what we're
it's
arguing.
not technologically
I don't
advanced.
feel
It's
like that's
just
what I
an-
came out the bathroom
it's an
saying.
up-
I said it was really
you
cool.
came out here, interrupted our MBA.
No,
and
you
started
said
talking about
technical.
toilets.
Speaking of technology, is what you said, and then you were like technology.
I said, hold on, let me interrupt. I want to talk about how cool it was that I peed in a bowl and it
You said, speaking of
disappeared.
technology, I want to talk about how cool
That's
it
exactly
was.
what I said. That I peed in a bowl, and then you guys, that's not cool. That's stupid. That's still
I
super
didn't say
cool.
it was stupid. I'm
Yes,
just
you
saying
both
it's
just
not
said it.
that
You both-
technological.
Yo!
It's great.
I said you
both
lost
literally
that
go,
argument.
Toilets are great.
I'm gonna go backtrack
I'm
later,
saying
and I'm gonna show you exactly what
It's-
you said.
It's a bad example when you're talking about technology, when you can do something like the refrigerator or anything as something.
I hadn't
mundane.
just gone to the fridge. I just went to the toilet. I was just showing you something that I literally just did.
I didn't like it.
All right, don't
Listen,
like it.
We'll
Either
run it
way,
back. We'll run it back on the when we.
no, we
release it.
won't.
We'll
We
see.
won't care that
We'll
much.
see.
We,
You're right, we'll
we want to
figure
go
it
get
out.
food because we're effing hungry.
I'm very hungry.
Did you guys finish your NBA
I
conversation?
think so. Yeah, we'll see where that
We'll see
sits.
what happens.
Tell us what you
I'm
guys think
excited.
about toilets and if they're
And refrigerators.
dumb or if they're cool. That's
Or
it.
Refrigerators are better.
Yeah, compare a toilet and a fridge. Which one's
You did
cooler? No. Anyways, guys, thank you for listening. Adrian, thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me, guys.
It's been a
Thank you
blast.
so
It has
much.
been a blast.
Come on more.
Yes.
This is, I think this may be our longest one so
Yeah.
far. So, we love you guys. Like, subscribe, comment. If you're listening to this on Spotify or iTunes, leave a review because that's how people find us more. The more reviews we have, the better we look.
Yeah, if you like
and,
us, share us, talk about us, whatever.
Yeah,
Follow us.
You guys know how it is.
Oh, last thing. Adrian,
Yes.
question of the
good
day.
job. Good call.
Question of
So,
the day.
question of the day. Anything you think of, go ahead with it. You don't have to answer it, and we don't have to. They will.
Oh, it's my question.
Yeah,
again?
you just ask into the world.
I'm asking.
So we've had some deep ones. We've had stupid ones. Like you can literally ask them anything. They'll leave us a comment saying their answers.
Hopefully, that's it.
Hopefully, yeah. That's the goal.
Has happened.
Oh my God! Has nobody's actually left the
I
question
don't
yet?
know.
I don't know. Let's pull it up.
I get kind of freaked
Think
out.
about
so
your
much.
answer. I'm gonna pull it up real
Whatever
quick.
you asking though.
Oh my God. What should I ask? Okay, here's a pretty cool one.
Okay.
What does everybody think of the state basically shutting down more arts programs in schools?
Okay. So
That's a
state's
good
cutting,
question.
cutting arts programs
Yeah.
are funding.
What does everybody think of that?
Awesome. Thanks everyone again. Really appreciate it. It means a lot to all of us. We like having. I mean, we just love to have friends on and just talk about kind of whatever's on our mind. So
Yep. Awesome.
hopefully
awesome.
people like listening to that. So
Yeah.
Great show. Listen, guys. Be blessed. Be blessed. Have a blessed day.
all right. Thanks everyone.
Love you.
Bye.